because having a live over there with no sound wasn't going to help me out later. So, and if you guys have more questions, please feel free, fire them at me. I'm an open book, and I love talking about this stuff. What other things do I do to market the headshot biz? I do email past clients, like especially like my best clients, and we'll be like, hey, can you help recommend? Is there anybody that you know? I follow up with leads, and like I use 17 Hats as my CRM. So even if somebody like, let's say somebody like emailed me today and they decided they weren't going to book me right now, I move them to a cold prospect and I archive it. But then like I come back like a few months later or a year later or whatever, and I will email them again and just be like, hey, I know it's been a while. You were looking at headshots. Is there anything that I can do? And you don't get a ton of bookings off of that, but you get some, and it's another touch point. So much of booking this stuff is being top of mind, is being in front of people and being memorable, because if somebody decides they don't want to do this right now, then 6 months down the road or something, their boss goes, oh, hey, you got to get a new headshot for the website. Then then they go, oh, okay, well, I know this bloke, right? So it's just staying in front of people. Touch points are really, really huge. That's big. It's everything. Like literally everything that I do is about marketing. In my case, and I'm not saying go out and do this, the kilt became a thing. Like I didn't start wearing the kilt because of the business. I started wearing the kilt because I got hot and I don't like wearing shorts. And then I discovered that wearing a kilt is insanely comfortable. And then from there, because I'm so active on social media, people started because you remember the big beardy dude in the kilt, right? So I'm memorable. Like I've been stopped on the street, because of it. So by people who follow my stuff. So everything. Luke asked, do you like art or marketing? Both. I am in business. So because I'm in business as an artist, I have to do both. So marketing, I love the art and what I do. That's huge. Hello there. Good to see you. But the marketing side of it is, it's a challenge, and I like a challenge. And it's marketing has been a shifting, moving target as long as I've been doing this, because the social media landscape keeps changing, because the world keeps changing. Biggly boo. It's a challenge. In many ways, it's like playing a video game. So I like sales. That's one of the things that a lot of people just starting a photography business don't think about. And a lot of what we do is sales. Like I have to sell. The marketing part is hard. It's so YouTube, if you're watching, I'm over here. Kristen, says, I find the marketing part hard. Marketing's hard, especially as an artist, because we're selling something that is A, subjective, and B, especially in hard economic times, something that's not a staple of life. It's not, people have to choose between, buying groceries and paying the bills this week or buying art. What are they going to choose? Right. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. That's gonna make me smile. I'm glad people know who I am. Now they all need to come book today. I'm kidding, but thank you. I needed to hear that today. Um, yeah, it's a the sales part of it though. It's something that people don't think about. And it probably the photography part of my business is probably like only 30% of the business. The rest of the business is marketing, is selling, is doing all of the other business things. Um, yeah, it, it's not what I expected when I started a photography business. Now, to be fair, when I started a photography business, I had approximately zero idea of what in the blue hell I was doing. So, it was, build the plane as you fly it sort of situation. Um, and that goes for business and photography. Like if you can ever find my early work, which God willing, and the creek don't rise, you don't. Um, you will. Uh, yeah, I hope you never find my. But my early work sucked. Just call it what it is. I didn't know what I was doing. I learned it as I go. Um, oh, YouTube over. Cooley. I'm glad that you can hear me now. I'm sorry that first part was screwed up. I said brilliant things about how AI isn't going to kill photographers. Um, depending on how things go, I may loop back around to all of that stuff. So, uh, and if anybody has questions, please feel free to fire them at me. Another question that I've been getting a lot recently is, and like it's the first time in all the time that I've been doing this, but I've been having a lot of people ask me about what it's like to be a male boudoir photographer and if that's weird and if clients find it weird. Um, I will come back around to that. So, Sheer on TikTok asked, am I experiencing a shift in what clients are asking for, like headshots over portraits? Right now, I'm getting a lot more headshot requests than I am portrait and boudoir requests. Um, this is the first time, like over the past several years, it's been about 50-50 with that. Now, I'm probably about 75% headshots to 25% portrait and boudoir. And I think that has to do with economic uncertainty more than anything else. I have no hard data to back that with, but that's my assumption. And over on YouTube, Cooley asked, am I using Capture One or Lightroom? I use Capture One. I stopped using Lightroom eons ago. I find that Capture One, the tether works better. I don't like the cataloging feature of Lightroom, or at least I didn't. I found it bogged my machine down. So I'm a big fan of Capture One. I primarily use Capture One. I use Evoto for basic retouching, like blemishes and stray hairs. And then I use Photoshop for if I need to get into my arty edits. It says, we are all there with our first creative works. I think it's a good thing that we evolve. Yeah, it's absolutely a good thing that we evolve. I'm still evolving, and that's what really makes this interesting and fun. I learn new things, try new things. My eye changes, my taste changes. Like I'm hoping that like when I'm long gone from this planet, I hope my art is still being enjoyed. That's kind of the hope of all of us, right? But then I also hope that if people are looking at my work, they're able to be like, oh, this was, he was in this period here. And then when you start seeing a shift to this style here, like you can do with so many other artists. So yeah, that's one of the cool things about what we do is we get to shift and move and change. And over on YouTube, Cooley asks, have I looked into Lumineer Neo? I have not. I know nothing about it, but I will now check it out when we jump off of this live for sure. And Hamza says, "So a custom clothing manufacturer. That's cool. That's awesome. My wife builds custom wigs. So nice to meet another custom person." Hold on, water. Hold on. So I was saying, about people asking about me being a male boudoir photographer, and if it's strange, and if customers find it strange, and whatever. So first off, people go, what's it like being a male boudoir photographer? The first question is, or the first answer is, it's no different being a male boudoir photographer than it is being a female boudoir photographer if you're doing the job correctly, right? So like when I am working with people, what software do I use to run the studio? The business side, my CRM is 17 Hats. If you go to the description of this, there's a code down there. You can save 50% a year off your first year on it. Shameless plugs, but I've been using 17 Hats since they started. If you're doing the job as a boudoir photographer correctly, there's nothing risque about it, right? Like when I'm working with somebody in front of my camera, I see light, I see shadow, I see shape. That's it. That's all I'm paying attention. Well, and expression and that sorts of thing. So like that's what a boudoir photographer should be doing. And I knew some people, early in my in my journey with it, who tried to make it creepy, be like, ooh, you got to see blood. I'm no longer in communication with those people. It's like, if you're coming at it from that angle, you're doing it wrong. And that's just flat out what it is. People will ask, or people will make statements and whatever, and be like, oh, well, a woman's never going to want to work with a man as a boudoir photographer. That's not true. I work with a lot of women, but if a specific woman is uncomfortable working with a male boudoir photographer, that's great. There's a million women boudoir photographers out there, right? So the name of the game is all about comfort and safety, and that's what I want. I would never want somebody to come to my studio, step in front of my camera, and be uncomfortable, because they're not going to have a great experience. It's going to come through in the work. In those cases, I'll be like, great, let me recommend you to a female photographer, right? So, but at the end of the day, if you're doing your job correctly, it's no different. It's not. I think people make a bigger deal about it because they assume certain things. It's just another day in the office, so we all just do what we can to make people feel good and make beautiful art. That's it. That's all. So, hey, thank you all for hanging out with me on Friday. And again, if questions are out there, please feel free to throw them at me. How many of you were here when I was blathering about AI at the beginning of this? Because if you weren't here for that, I will go back through it. I think if you're in a creative field, I think it's kind of important to hear these sorts of things, because I know there's a lot of fear. I know there's a lot of fear with AI taking over the biz or art in general. YouTube, Cooley asks, do I ever play around with a ring flash? I don't. Excuse me. I don't play with a ring. Personally, I don't like the light from a ring flash or a ring light. I don't know. So the ring flash, the ring strobe, whatever, they were originally invented for photographing dentistry. And so it kind of flattens everything out in a weird way. I don't like it. I'm loath to say this sentence because I hear it so much about, or used to hear it so much about my headshot lighting setup. I don't like the catch light. I personally don't like them. Um, Over on TikTok says I wasn't very interested in AI. I work in both music and photo. It's both scary and exciting. Yeah, I think this. I think what's freaking people out is people think it's going to take their jobs, and I don't think we as artists are ever going to be replaced. Like, I know that when the camera started becoming mass produced and affordable, well, more affordable, painters, were like, oh, it's going to kill paint, blah. And like, I, to this day, know people who make their living as portrait artists with a brush, so that's fine. I know that when digital cameras started becoming the norm over film, the old timers, and they still bitch, but we're like, oh, it's going to be the death of the industry. Oh my God, it's going to go. And I think the industry's still going pretty okay. So, you know, AI can't do what I do, and AI doesn't have taste. AI can't give service, right? So the story that I told at the top of this thing, like, I worked with a company earlier this week, uh, did like 15 different people did their headshots. Before they hired me, they tried to do this with AI and they found it to be a pain in the ass. So exactly. I will come back to that in just a moment. Um, so the first problem they had was trying to get images from everybody they needed headshots for to be able to feed into a generator. So that took a lot of time, right? So, and if you're in business, time is money, just flat out. So they're spending all this time trying to get photos to feed into the generator, and then they feed things into the generator, and they weren't coming out, like, the people didn't look like themselves. Like, they would get close, but it just wasn't right. Like, it was. I will come back to that question. Great question. So there was that, and then there was also. Like, the backgrounds kept changing. Nothing was right. So they spent hours and hours and hours. Two people, higher up people in the thing, spent a lot of time fiddling with AI to try to get these headshots right, and they never got it right. So they called me. I went and did it with them. I had 15 people's headshots done in 2 hours, had it delivered the same day, edited and done. And, they were like, this is what we should have done in the first place. And now whenever they have somebody new come on the team, they'll just send them to the studio and the images are going to look the same. It'll slide right in. So AI, the ease of AI became a whole lot harder, cost them a lot of time, when in the end, I took care of it for them, no problem, right? So, like, the sticker shock of my price up front looks more expensive, but when you figure they took all these hours and loss of opportunity cost of what they could have been doing with the business, they probably spent a whole lot more, right? On YouTube, Cooley asks, do I shoot a lot with tethering? Yes, the tether cable never ever comes off of my camera unless I'm going to another location, and then it goes right back on. I also have links for Tethertools down below. So I use the Tethertools bright orange cable. And a godsend has been the tether block, which screws into the bottom of the camera, and it holds the cable in place so I can move around. And my tether never comes disconnected from my camera. So I haven't shot to a memory card probably since the last time I shot a wedding, and it's been years since I shot a wedding because I hate shooting weddings, and I actually don't do them anymore. I think I've only shot like 8 total. If I never do a wedding again, it's too freaking soon. So all that back. So Shira, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, yell at me. Says that AI can't replace the client the experienced client is also seeking. Easy for me to say. Um, Come back to that. So no, like a lot of my clients, especially my portrait and my boudoir clients, but my headshot clients too, uh, like they're celebrating milestones, like 30th, 40th, 50th birthday, um, anniversaries, weddings, that sort of thing. And they don't want to look back at photos and go, this is what a computer thought that I looked like. They want to be like, that's me. That was me. And then the experience in my studio is also, it's like, shit, okay, thank you. I will remember it that way. Thank you for Shira. Got it. The experience in my studio is a lot of fun. Like, it's USA kilts. I wear your kilts a lot. I need more of them. I'm going through body transformation. I actually just paid a dude now, new diet plan. So I'm coming. More tartan is coming. I swear, more. But no, I am absolutely like I'm okay. So I can't tell you like how much weight I'm down because I've put on a lot of muscle too. A cheap plug. But things have reduced. Like the first kilt that I got from you guys, I can only wear it around the house now because if I take the belt off, that kilt ain't staying on. So, yeah, nobody needs to see that out in not that I take my belt off in public, but stupid things can happen. Thank you guys. And if there's ever videos that you guys need me to make, let me know. I got you. So I forget where I was in all of that. But experience. Yeah, so it's fun in here. Like we laugh a lot. My portrait and my boudoir sessions include a makeup artist as well. So they get to experience that. And then me and my makeup team, not my makeup team, the makeup team that I work with, but they're basically family at this point. We have great rapport. So it's just great energy in here. If these walls could talk, the amount of laughter, the amount of joyous tears that have happened here, I get a lot of hugs, which is great. People tell us things like we've heard some stories now, and we also say things that get said in the studio stay in the studio. We don't take that stuff out into the world. Yeah, it's an experience, man. And it's also why I will only do one portrait boudoir session a week. Like mentally and emotionally, I can only do one, and then plus you factor in, I've got the headshots to do. I've got marketing, I've got editing, biggly boo, right? So it's an emotional, drain for me in a good way. I'm happy to do it, but it's a lot. Cooley asked, do I save both? Back to the tethering. Do I save to memory card and computer? No. When I tether, it only goes to the computer. The Nikon D850, when you're shooting tethered, doesn't save the card. So it just goes to the computer. But I have a whole backup system in place as well. So as soon as I shoot it, it's already backing up to other hard drives. So I've got it saved in multiple places. So far, knock on wood, I've never lost a file. And I hope to keep it that way. I used the few weddings that I did. I got nervous about that though. Like, what if I lose my cards on the way home? And like I would get home like at midnight, 1 o'clock, and immediately start dumping all of my cards to the computer, and then had a whole backup system. I've got my cloud that I back things up to, and it's kind of an automatic situation. So, good questions, y'all. I greatly appreciate that. This has been great, man. Y'all making my Friday fun. I actually, I didn't think I was going to make it today because I had the networking thing this morning, and then I was supposed to go get my beard work done. I have a beard barber who takes care of this thing, and he texted me early, and he was sick, so he didn't want to be all up in my face dealing with my beard. I did a little bit of trim on it. Cooley as what is my most interesting marketing plan? I mean, all of it, right? Like, is it like I was saying earlier, like it all, every single bit of it works together. It's a, marketing, it's like a machine, and like all pieces of it have to be moving at all times. It's actually one of the hardest parts about uh, being a solopreneur and doing this by myself. It's trying to keep all of the plates spinning all the time, and that can get exhausting. I've gotten better over the past couple of years about giving myself some downtime, but I get really nervous in those times too, because like I should be working, I should be doing something. There's a post I could be making, or I could be finding networking opportunities, or I should be working on the website and generating this and generating that, and it's a lot, man. So, but it's yeah, I don't. Can you be more specific? I know, because like, it's a kind of a vague question. It's all, it's everything. Like everything is Mark. So I don't know if it's so much interesting as much as it's necessity on things. But at the same time, I love doing it all. Like I hate it and I love it. Much like going to the gym. Like I hate lifting weights, but damn, do I love the results, right? So trying to figure out all the marketing stuff is, and trying new things. Like not too long ago, I had big signs printed up. They're just professional headshots or whatever, and stuck it out on the street, for cars driving by. Like, let's try that, but those signs kept disappearing. And I'm 98% sure it was other photographers stealing them. I have nothing to base that on other than the fact that, my phone number and all that were all over the signs. And if I was breaking the law, I think by now the cops would call and be like, will you stop putting these things up? Which one did the best? They all work together, man. Like all of the marketing things work together. So the way I have viewed it in the past, and this may be changing with AI, is think of it like a wheel, right? So the center of my marketing wheel, that hub, is my website. Everything is meant to drive back to the website. So like if I'm out networking, which does a lot of good, hand people my card, sends them to the website, right? My social media, the goal of my social media, it, other than to feed my massive ego, I'm kidding, is to get people to the website, to put things out there that are compelling enough, give enough value that people go, I need to know more about this cat, or his work is so good, I need to, I got to go check out his site. So it's, if you're running a Google business listing, it's trying to get people to your website. So it's all of it. Now that is starting to shift due to how AI is taking over. Like Gemini in Google is changing a lot about how things get recommended. So we're having to change some SEO strategy. We're having to change up how we do everything, really. And it's part of the reason I'm doing as many short form videos as I do. That's a part of the marketing plan. It's you remember me, and I'm personable on camera. I know how to talk to camera. I'm very comfortable with it, which gives me an edge over a lot of my competition, because people already feel like they know, like, and trust me. People see my face all the time. They hear my voice. They see my dog. Like people ask about Cedric, so like they feel like they know me. That books me clients. Like, honest to God, that books me clients. I had a woman fly from Seattle, got on a plane, flew from Seattle to Louisville, Kentucky for a boudoir photo shoot. We did the shoot, we did the sale. She got back on a plane that afternoon and flew back to Seattle. And without short form video, that would have never happened. So shameless plug again for those of you who are new here, and that's not why I was doing these lives this afternoon. If you don't know how to get started with short form video, I made a course. The link is, you know where to go find my links. Buy the course. It's geared at photographers, but even if you're not a photographer, it's small businesses will benefit from it. Abel says, what's your opinion on photography put portrait painters out of work? I just talked about this a little bit ago, actually. It didn't. I know portrait painters today who make their living by painting portraits. I did a portrait of my mother a couple of years ago, and we took it to a framer to have it put into a big close corner frame. And while we were there at that particular shop gallery, somebody else was there getting a frame built for a portrait of their son they had painted. So you weren't being a tool at all. That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. It's, I think it's something worth talking about, right? Because I know there's a lot of photographers who are really freaked the fuck out right now, going, oh, AI is going to put us out of business. And AI is not going to put us out of business. AI will separate the wheat from the chaff, right? Like all of the low budget photographers out there, the photographers who are going, oh, I'll do a $99 special and you get 20 edited images, blah, blah, blah. Those folks are screwed. I mean, it just, because the bargain shoppers are just going to go to AI at that point. Those of us who give good product, give good service, they don't stand a chance. And okay, so the comment here is AI can't replace event photographers. Yes and no. Hi, Caitlin. Good to see you. Hello. Look, multiple from my friends coming in. Hi, y'all. So AI can't replace event photographers. I don't know. I think there's aspects of it that they can with AI robots, like the little robots that like run around. Like there was one at a sushi restaurant my wife wanted to go to not long ago that like brought food to our table. I think actually I just saw one of these running around at WPPI and somebody's reel. It was a robot that comes up to people, takes their photo, and then it dumps it to their phone. So that regard, I think it will bite into that business because people go, oh, cool, robot. So it's going to change it. I don't think it's going to eliminate event photographers, but it's going to change the game for sure. So, but it's not going to kill the business either. It's just not like, hell, there's now, no, you shouldn't be worried. Dear God Almighty, your work is gorgeous. the AI overlords ain't touching what you do. Like there's an AI powered like massage robot now. Evidently, this is the international sign for massage. I don't know either. And it's like, I've seen video of it and things. It's like, I don't want to go get a massage by a robot, right? Like I have a massage appointment this afternoon. My massage therapist knows me, knows what my issues are, and I trust her to fix it, right? Supposed to be working, so don't work. I'm more fun. It's a Friday afternoon. Being that I am a boss, maybe not necessarily yours, but I give you the rest of the day off. You don't have to do anything. So there. How's the doggo? This user, who is nothing but numbers, so I trust this to not be a bot, ask, you have issues? Yeah, several. Thanks for asking. You? But yeah. No, I'm good. Tell me about yours. I am happy to come over and help with the dog. Remember this. I'm going to put this in your head. Abrupt shift to dog training. Everything you do is training. everything you do is training. So just remember that. If doggo gets away with something once, you trained it. It's on you. I got really deep. Well, Seti's got a cute face too, and I don't let him get away with shit. And he knows it. Did you see the video that I posted of him being a total indoor kid in the snow? Okay, so check this out, y'all. So my dog, back here on the wall, that's Cedric, husky, right? So, and we just had like this big F off snowstorm like a month ago or 2 months, whatever. It was crazy. So my husky should be like, snow, let's go. So we go outside to go shovel. Like me and my wife were, shoveling everything out. My husky, my natural dog, runs back to the back door and throws a fit to go back into the house. An absolute fit. So we let him in. And then he goes and like curls up in an armchair in the window and watches us shovel the whole time. Like I raised an indoor kid. And I love him to death. He is one of my most favorite things on the planet. But he's a butthead. I've done several videos with him too. So you've seen, he is cute and he knows it. And cute saves him. Yeah. Setting it behind me. Yeah. Did I not tell you this? So after I did Seti's portrait in here, I was like, I wonder if anybody owns the website LouisvillePetPortraits.com, and nobody did. So I own LouisvillePetPortraits.com, and I brought in like a bunch of dogs and stuff and did portraits of dogs and cats, a chicken or whatever. It doesn't take a lot of traffic because I don't do anything with it. But yeah, Louisville Pet Portraits is little old me, and it's really just an excuse to play with people's dogs. Like if the whole photography business, went tits up today, I would just go train dogs. I think the dogs would be the easy part. I think it's the dog owners that would be hard. Oh, thank you, Moose and One. The hustle is it's fun, it's exhausting. Okay, so full disclosure to all of you who are watching, I'm actually in the middle of dealing with a big old bit of burnout right now too. One of the joys of being a solopreneur and trying to do all this by yourself, like all of it, you get tired, and we all go through it every once in a while. So like if somebody used to be like, what do you want to do right now? It's like, I want to go sit in my chair and drink a martini and listen to some records and play with my dog. That's pretty much it. But, it comes and it goes. That's just part of it. But I'm also not letting it get to me. Like I've got marketing things moving. I'm setting up a bunch of content shoots right now. And I'm not a big fan of shooting for... Right? It just, you get tired, right? And like all of us who are at this alone, we're wound tight, man. And just sometimes we just have to take a little bit of a break. But I don't love shooting for content. But a lot of my clients who I do shoot, in particular that I shoot boudoir for, don't want their intimate images shared online, which is fine. I'm not going to do that to people. However, I do still have to be able to show the process and what we do to let people know. So it's like I bring in models to the thing, and I don't work with like models because they model. Like I don't need a fashion model. The kind of models that I need, it's more like an art class than it is runway show. But the work is the same. It's like I shoot the exact kind of work that I would. Oh, TikTok thinks I'm not here. Unable to verify. Bite me. Sorry, TikTok just made me do a challenge because I've been on long enough that they're like, "Are you really here?" Um, yes, no. you know, uh, the amount of times I've wanted to show like the frustration in the things, and I've toyed with it of being like, do I come on and do I be like, here's the part of doing this that sucks, and then I don't do it because I'm like, it's like I don't want people to see that because I'm like, oh, I still have to be a, you know, I'm still selling, so I can't be like, oh, there's parts of this that suck. But no, I hear you, man. People don't see that part. YouTube asks, do you ever photograph schools? Absolutely not. No. That the back end work that you've got to have in place to do schools, to not, it's not only like photographing the kids, but then to be able to get the things in front of the parents and then doing the sales and blah blah blah, and no, not at all. And plus I don't like working that way, like with the, like that's a churn and burn. Yeah, get them in, that smile, click, go. I don't like working that way, and I'm at a point in life and in my career that if I don't want to do it, like if it doesn't interest me, if it doesn't excite me in some way, I'm just not doing it. I don't want to, So like the way that I work is so interactive and requires connection with me and the person in front of the camera, um, that a school wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be fast enough for it. So good question though. So all right, y'all. This has been a blast. Thank all of y'all for hanging out. I have to go get ready to go to my appointment. But this was awesome. I will endeavor to do this next Friday for sure. But I may go live a couple times next week. I'm recording longer form YouTube content next week. If there's anything that you want to see longer form wise, let me know. You can like DM me or whatever. I've also been throwing some like lifestyle stuff in there, like kind of like Casey Neistat style. So if that stuff is of interest to you, let me know. I'll keep making it. Everybody have a great, great weekend. I know here the weather is supposed to be pretty good. So I'm going to try to get some vitamin D, and I will see you all next week. Thank you all.